the Indiana Fever rookie sensation, the most hyped player women's basketball has ever seen, has not only transformed the WNBA, but has also made millions of casual fans tune in for the first time. Every time she steps onto the floor, arenas sell out, jersey sales skyrocket, and ratings break records. But now, with her absence due to injury, the entire basketball world is asking the same thing. When will she return, and what will her comeback look like? In today's video, we're going to break this down in full detail. What exactly happened to Caitlin Clark? How serious is her injury? How long will her recovery take? What does her absence mean for the WNBA and the Fever? And most importantly, when can we realistically expect her to be back dominating the court again? Before we dive into the timeline of her return, let's quickly remind ourselves why Caitlin Clark is the most important player in women's basketball right now. Caitlin didn't just arrive in the WNBA. She stormed into it like a hurricane. From the moment she was drafted #1 overall by the Indiana Fever, the spotlight has been glued to her. Her college career at Iowa was legendary. She broke scoring records, shattered attendance records, and became the most-watched athlete in women's sports history. And she carried that same energy into the pros. The Fever went from an overlooked franchise to the most-watched team in the league. They sold out road games, they topped television ratings, and Clark instantly became the face of the WNBA. So when she went down with an injury, it wasn't just a blow to the Fever. It was a blow to the entire league. Now let's talk about the injury itself. Caitlin Clark has been one of the most heavily targeted players in the WNBA. She's been on the receiving end of hard fouls, physical defenses, and at times downright reckless plays. Many analysts have accused the league of failing to protect her, while others argue that every superstar goes through this kind of treatment. But one thing is clear: the constant wear and tear finally caught up. During a game earlier this season, Clark went down in visible pain after a collision. At first, fans feared the worst. Was it a torn ligament? Was her rookie year over before it had even begun? Fortunately, reports later confirmed that it wasn't a season-ending injury, but it was still serious enough to sideline her, leaving the Fever without their star and the league without its biggest attraction. Now, how serious is this injury? Doctors and team officials have been careful not to give exact details, but from what's been reported, it appears to be a lower body injury, likely a sprain or strain that requires weeks of recovery time. Here's the thing about these types of injuries: they can linger. If you rush back too quickly, you risk re-injury. And with Caitlin being the centerpiece of the Fever's long-term rebuild and the WNBA's future, there's no way the team is going to risk her health for a few extra regular season games. Medical experts suggest that the typical recovery window for this type of injury could be anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, depending on severity. That means while it's unlikely we'll see Caitlin back immediately, she should still be able to return this season. Now let's talk about what this means for the Indiana Fever. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the Fever were struggling to stay relevant. They hadn't been a playoff threat for years, and attendance numbers were near the bottom of the league. But Clark changed everything. She didn't just make them watchable, she made them must-see TV. Without her, the Fever lose their identity. The offense slows down, the spacing collapses, and the media attention starts to fade. Teammates like Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell are still strong players, but they don't command the same spotlight. This is why Caitlin's absence feels so much bigger than just one player missing time. It feels like the heartbeat of the team and the league has been put on pause. And it's not just the Fever who are suffering. The entire WNBA is feeling Caitlin Clark's absence. Let's be honest, this has been the Caitlin Clark effect season. The league has seen record-breaking TV ratings, unprecedented merchandise sales, and massive social media engagement. And Caitlin is at the center of all of it. Without her, interest dips. Games don't trend as much online. Ticket sales aren't as hot. The league has built much of its momentum around her presence, and now, with her sidelined, that momentum is stalling. This makes her comeback even more crucial. The WNBA doesn't just want Caitlin back, they need her back. So now the big question: when will Caitlin Clark come back? Based on medical estimates, insider reports, and the way the Fever are handling her rehab, here's what we can expect. Caitlin will likely spend the next few weeks focusing on rest, treatment, and light rehab exercises. The goal here is to let the swelling and pain subside before she ramps up activity. Once she's pain-free, she'll move into strength training, conditioning, and basketball drills. This stage usually takes at least 1 to 2 weeks. If everything goes smoothly, Caitlin Clark could realistically return within 4 to 6 weeks of the injury. That means fans could see her back on the court before the regular season is over. Of course, this all depends on how her body responds. Every player is different, and the Fever won't risk her future by rushing her back. Let's not overlook the emotional side of this story. Caitlin Clark is not just any rookie. She's someone who has carried an unbelievable amount of pressure since college. She's been the face of every headline, the target of every defense, and the subject of endless debates. For her, sitting out is probably just as painful as the injury itself. She's a competitor who loves the game, and being forced to watch from the sidelines while her team fights without her is something that cuts deep. But if we know anything about Caitlin Clark, it's that she thrives on challenges. This comeback will be another chapter in her story, another test of her resilience, and another chance for her to prove why she's one of the toughest players in the game. And let's talk about the fans for a moment. The outpouring of support for Caitlin Clark has been massive. Social media has been flooded with messages wishing her a speedy recovery. Fever fans are wearing her jersey in the stands even when she's not playing. And neutral fans across the league are counting the days until her return. This shows just how powerful her impact is. Even when she's not on the court, she's the most talked about player in the WNBA. So when Caitlin Clark finally comes back, what will it mean? But beyond that, her comeback will symbolize something bigger: resilience. It will show that even when the league's brightest star gets knocked down, she gets back up stronger than ever. And for Caitlin herself, it will be another chance to silence doubters, inspire fans, and continue rewriting the history of women's basketball. So, when will Caitlin Clark come back? Her comeback won't just be about basketball. It'll be about perseverance, leadership, and the undeniable truth that Caitlin Clark is the future of the WNBA. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates.